Well, ladies and gentlemen, Inkling and Octoling fans, it is time to get excited because finally we are about to get an onslaught of news for Splatoon 3 this Wednesday, because this Wednesday we are having a Splatoon 3 Nintendo Direct airing at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 a.m. Pacific. That's pretty early. It also states that this is going to be 30 minutes of updates. A 30-minute presentation for Splatoon sounds kind of crazy. I don't remember what the past kind of times for, game-specific directs were, but I don't know if they were ever around 30 minutes. 30 minutes is a long time, even for a general direct, so that's pretty cool. There's probably a lot of information to be talked about here, and that's why we're here today. So today I want to dive in and talk about just the things that I think Nintendo is going to do. This is more an accurate, actual prediction video based off of what they've done in the past with the past two games and what I'm expecting for them to do this time. I am not including really any of my personal wants and predictions of my own that I would want to see Nintendo to do and what I think they need to do, but this is more along the lines of what I think they are going to do. Once again, being an accurate prediction based on what Nintendo has done before. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, stop what you're doing, leave a like, and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Splatoon 3 and all things Nintendo in general. Now let's get on to what this Direct could have in store. The first thing we have is the multiplayer, and if I know anything about Nintendo, they are going to want to talk about guns, and they're going to want to talk about modes. So how is this going to actually happen? So first off, I think there's only going to be one more new gun that they want to show off. I think we already have the ink bow, and they're going to want to probably add just one last one. What is it going to be? I don't know. I'm going for more of a melee weapon since we already have kind of a far shooting bow. I would like to see something a little bit more up close, and I think that's what Nintendo might do. I don't think there's going to be more than that, unfortunately. I think any other new weapon, I think we could get a total of like 4 to 5 in this game total, but the rest are going to come in updates later on. I think right now it's just going to be strictly 1 or 2 weapons during this presentation, and they're probably going to go in depth about them. They'll probably show off the ink bow a little bit more as well, and showing the different classes for that bow, or the different weapons within that class rather, showing maybe some bows that shoot just one arrow that goes really, really far and does a lot of damage, or maybe, even more, like shoots 5 or 6 arrows at a time and just does a little bit of chip damage. I could definitely see stuff like that. I think knowing Nintendo, they'll also go over all the other existing weapon classes. That's just something that seems like Nintendo would do just for people that don't know them or just are not that familiar with them. And of course, going over the new specials and subs, that's definitely something Nintendo's going to do. Show off what they do, what makes them special, and maybe show off a couple more that they really didn't get to talk about in depth so far. That's definitely what they'll do. Also, talk about the maps. I think there's going to be one map in particular that's going to blow our minds. I don't know what it is yet, but I just have a feeling like it's going to be some type of crazy arcade or something crazy that people are going to be like, I need to play here. I don't know what it is, but yeah, the rest will be pretty cool. There'll be lots of returning ones too from 1 and 2, and then, there'll be a couple of new ones. We already know we've seen a couple of new ones already from Nintendo via their Twitter. For instance, one was like an underground subway and like another type of art museum or something I saw. So we might get another big one revealed that's kind of different than the rest and kind of adding new things. They might even show maps that have cool gimmicks as part of the stage. We started to see that towards the end of Splatoon 2 with some of those special like Twilight Zone stages or whatever they were. They were pretty cool because some had like zip lines, some had ink cannons that you could shoot out of, and lots of other things that popped up and kind of interfered with the battle, and it actually kept it pretty interesting. So hopefully there's more stages with more things to interact with besides just using your guns. Maybe there's different things you can use like those ink tanks again. Now when it comes to choosing a mode and actually kind of getting into a game, they'll probably show that off and show the casual modes and the ranked modes again, and I think it's going to stay the same. I would love to see a whole nother kind of extra side mode besides like Salmon Run, something else, maybe like a bigger battle with more players or something like that, or anything else that kind of changes up the average 4v4. But what I think Nintendo's going to end up doing is making kind of the ranked playlist modes kind of casual modes as well, meaning you can play not just Turf War in casual, but like Tower Control, Splat Zones, all these different things, Rainmaker, you can play them in a casual setting and not just ranked. So they might show that off and show how now if you want to just casually play some of these extra modes besides Turf War, you can do that. I know Nintendo showed on the Splatoon 3 website that there are going to be new modes, and I think these new modes are simply just going to be that. New modes that you can play within that ranked playlist, and probably now the casual playlist, which they just might add to. There was that linked mode called Rocket for a long time, and we didn't know what it was going to be, but seriously, probably just more stuff like that. They might even get rid of some modes that we've already had, like Clam Blitz and stuff, and replace them with new ones. So it's really up to Nintendo where they go with this, but I just think we're going to get probably 1, maybe 2 new modes to talk about that can be played in both casual and competitive playlists. Now we move on to Salmon Run. Now this is the one that I'm very iffy on, and this is going to really make or break this mode for me based on this Nintendo Direct. because right now, this just looks like Salmon Run got an update from Splatoon 2. It literally looks exactly identical to the original Salmon Run. Looks like the stages are really the same, the outfits, the type of weapons you get to use, it looks like they're still randomized. Everything looks pretty much spot on the way it did before. Seriously, you probably wouldn't even be able to tell this is a different game if you just asked a casual player. So I want to see them add some new things to this. Now, I know we're getting new boss salmonid, and they're probably going to show off a lot of more boss salmonid, including that Godzilla freaky one in the ocean. But I have a general idealization of how they're going to play. They're probably just going to pop up around the outside of the island, and you have to shoot them and stuff as they shoot giant lasers at you, kind of like Godzilla. But at the end of the day, it's probably going to feel exactly like Salmon Run 2.0, which it is. It's Salmon Run 2. So let's see exactly how this pans out. My guess is it's going to play very, very similar. I think they showed us pretty much what we needed to see by having that big kind of showcase during the Nintendo Direct. So I think everything that we are needing to see from Salmon Run, we've already saw. I think they might touch on it a little bit, show off the new mechanic of throwing eggs again, because they like to kind of act like that's the big kind of huge draw of this game. But I don't think we're going to get a lot from this one at all. If anything, I could see us getting maybe an endless mode where you can just kind of see how long you can go and how long you can collect eggs and go through different waves and see just how far you can push yourself, just having the island get swarmed with different types of creatures. And maybe you can even like have a bigger map for that mode, since it is a let's see how long you can last. Maybe they'll give you a bigger island, but who knows? We'll see. But out of all the modes and all the stuff they can talk about, I think this one's going to be kind of the most disappointing, and there's not going to be a lot of brand new stuff. Then we have the campaign. Yes, we have to talk about those monstrous mammalians, because we are getting a new full-fledged story and probably lots of more lore to just kind of salivate at as we wait for this campaign. This is probably the most anticipated part of this entire Direct for me. I love Splatoon campaigns, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do with it this time. Now, I don't think they're going to stray far away from what we have expected from Splatoon campaigns. There's going to be floating things in the sky that we have to get through in order to get to the end of each level. Yes, floating obstacle courses, that is Splatoon's campaign, whether you like it or not. If you want more of an adventurous Splatoon, I think that's going to have to eventually come in its own like kind of spin-off outside of its online play. But I think this is going to stick to what we already know, but with some surprises for sure. If we get any big surprises during the show, it's going to be in the story mode. I think there's going to be some more open areas and some more kind of levels that are different from what we expect, that have us doing different things and missions. They did show DJ Octavio look like he could be a hero this time, helping the agents. So what if there's like a part where you actually get to control him and play alongside your Inkling and kind of switch back and forth between them? I do think there's going to be a big twist or surprise here, and I kind of want to go along the lines of, like I just said, is swapping off between different characters, and maybe even Agent 3 helping out, since we know that they are returning. So maybe like some missions you have to switch back and forth and help each other out, kind of like Link does in, like, let's say Spirit Tracks with Phantom Zelda. That would be really cool, helping each other progress through the level, and that way you could probably even play that level in co-op, where both of you start in different portions and have to work your way together by, you know, turning on certain switches or doing stuff in tandem to help each other out. The last campaign that we've seen from the Splatoon team was the Octo expansion, and goodness gracious, was that a ride. That was a really fun addition with even more lore that they gave us, and man, I just love the missions that they had. There was a mission where you didn't have a weapon and you had to make your way all the way to the top of some, you know, weapons silo in order to get to Agent Tartar and stuff. It was crazy, and I like just how fresh it was. Like I said, just having no weapon greatly changed how you would play the game. You had to be more stealth now and watch out for enemies and not get detected. It's stuff like this that made it extremely fun, and I'm hoping that we see more like this again, and I think we will. I think this is the one part of Splatoon 3 that I have absolutely no worries on, because man, they definitely know how to make a campaign from what we played so far. So I have real high expectations for this. What is going to be the premise? I don't know. I still think it's going to be something to do with bears and stuff, with outer space. Maybe there's bears in outer space sent from the humans, or maybe even monkeys or something. I don't know, but something going on. We're going to get a new antagonist, it looks like, and I can't wait. Hopefully DJ Octavio is a good guy. I would like to see him work with the Inklings and the Octolings in order to help out, but we'll see what happens there. And I'm not going to go in depth with the world and kind of the hub. You know, I know they're going to talk about the idols and the new shops that you get to go in and probably lots more customizable options, and that's going to be really cool. But that's going to be about it. I think it's going to be a pretty good show. I think I am very excited about the campaign. For me, that's particularly my #1 thing I can't wait for, but we're going to have to wait and see what Nintendo has in store for us. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Splatoon 3 and Nintendo in general. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.